Hello, one and all, and welcome to the opening round of the League of Europe Formula 2 Championship for Season 4. My oh my, this is going to be exciting. It's the first stream of 2021 on the League of Europe channel, so it's going to be a privilege to take you guys through that. I am Daniel Hogard, leading the way in comms for this season, and joining me in the commentary box, as you could be seeing, I hope, for the entire season, it is Mr. James Head. How you doing, fella?
I'm Mr. 100%. What are you on about? I'm going to be here every single race
Yes,
for
love it.
2021 for the League of Europe F2 Championship. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year as well to everyone that's tuning in tonight to Division 1. Division 2 Org 4 is going to be live as well. And we have got some great racing for you in terms of the action out on track. Sprint race and feature race, of course. Feature race up first, sprint race up second. 50% worth of racing in both, one-shot qualifying as well. And around a track like Bahrain, especially with unstable cars like these in the F2, it's going to be quite interesting to see on the season opener.
Yeah, I imagine that most of these guys are still not quite adapted to these new 2020 spec Formula 2 cars. Of course, last season we were racing in the 2019 cars. So there's definitely going to be an element of adaptability that's going to have to come into this championship, and particularly the early rounds. Got to be keeping a close eye on that. Starting traditionally for Formula 2 at Bahrain, of course, the 15 corner circuit here in Sakir, and usually produces great racing. I'm sure that we're going to be seeing more of that here tonight. We have currently 19 drivers in the lobby. That's a pretty good attendance so far. So we're going to hopefully have a great show coming up for you very, very shortly. Just stay tuned, because right now I'm going to try and get the list of teams up for you guys to run through, of course, but a few transfers, a few new drivers coming in, so let's run through it. I'm just going to start in the order that is listed on the standings. So we're starting off with the Dams team of XL Lando and XL Ryan. You're going to find a lot of XL drivers in this division, no doubt. Next up, you have the Virtuosi team of Toxic and Campbell, the Arts team of Nolan and Tin Can. Then you have the Carlin team of Zerwa and Killer Blue. Then the lone Campos driver of Break FN, the lone Charu driver, if I'm pronouncing that right, of Matthias. Then MP Motorsport is Josh and Sweet Crown. HWA Race Lab, I believe, is Larkin and Miami. Then the lone Prema driver of Risa. Then Team Trident is going to be Rocco and XL Dillon. Rounding off the grid is going to be the high-tech lineup of Verstappen and Chill, with M Short 17 serving as a reserve. I'm not sure if he is. He is indeed here tonight. He is. So, yeah, of course. I don't think we do have pretty much a full grid to fill up both these two divisions, which is absolutely fantastic. So we should be getting a great show for all of us. It is now 7 o'clock UK time, so expect this to be getting underway very shortly, with 19 drivers here tonight, and hopefully good attendance throughout the rest of the season. I can't wait for the racing going to be seeing on track. Based on last season, James, this is going to be electric.
It is going to be electric, and hopefully we're going to see some great racing out on track. Just to confirm about M Short coming in on the Prima, he is going to be taking the place of Risa, I believe, tonight. So he is in the Prima, the sole Prima out on track. He's taking the place of Risa, I think, who's a late absentee. Lovely to see as well, Nolan has changed his name. Auto Gear now, Nolan is known as, because of course we've got two Nolans within the Division 1. Nolan, and of course the other Nolan being in Division 2, I think, XL Nolan. So there we are. Excel, not Auto Gear Nolan, as it is now. It's great. If that made any sense to you guys, yeah.
I think it's more down to the fact that XL, that's that sort of discrepancy. So we can maybe have a bit of an easier time with that, trying to pronounce it differently when you're obviously talking very quickly in the commentary box. We aren't quite getting things underway just yet. We are, I presume, still waiting on some matter to be placed, but we are all good to go here in the comms box, that is for sure. We have got a few comments in the live stream. I'm just going to check some of these out for you guys. So here we go. And yeah, we have Mr. Kyle Hartman in the chat supporting Sweet Crown and Josh. Let's see how those those guys do certainly throughout the night and throughout the season. I do hope that most of these guys are going to be sticking around throughout the entirety of this championship, as we are now getting ready, and the anticipation is ever rising. As James mentioned earlier, we have a one-shot qualifying, one-shot qualifying to set the grid, followed by a 50% feature race with the qualifying grid, and then a sprint race, a short sprint race, with the with the top 8 being reversed. What's going on there, James?
Matthias's comment in the comment section is what's going on. Please don't go on board with me too much. I don't want to permanently blind anyone. So we're not going on board with Matthias tonight. I think it's simple to say from that comment.
Well, what we've always done is that whoever the camera just locks onto for one shot qualifying, we stick around with them. So maybe he may get unlucky. Who knows? We'll see how that's
He's
going.
He's got a 1 in 19 chance of being unlucky here.
Let's see. We know that. What's going on?
Have you seen the lobby?
Do you mean the pit lane and what's going on?
The pit lane. There's nothing loaded on my screen.
Yeah, same here. I could just see some mechanics in the garage, but there's nothing separating them. Oh no, we are getting underway. It's going to be QVR Verstappen in the high tech we're going to run on board with for this lap. He is in Nikita Mazepin's car, make of that what you will, as he barrels down towards the first corner of the lap. Then nerves will be shot, but he gets nicely onto the brakes and turned in to the apex, and the exit is ever important though, as you go through turns 2 and 3 just about flat out, going to carry all the speed you possibly can, opening up the DRS. Then the short sprint towards turn 4, you can see going onto the curb on the outside to really open up the entry to the right hander, and the exit yet again critical, little bit of oversteer for QVR Verstappen, being managed to gather it up into turns 5 and 6 into this high speed section of the track, then through turn 7 again on the limit with the curbing, and then you're onto the brakes again this time into there, bit of turn 8, takes that in second gear, wind onto the throttle on the exit, now to probably the most difficult corner on the whole track, then the downhill braking zone at turn 10. Very easy to get this wrong and run out wide, but Verstappen nice and clean on the apex and opening up the DRS yet again, heading towards turn 11 now. So let's see how he approaches this, and again using that curb then on the right hand side to scoop into the left hander. Going to get early on the throttle here, because that's going to make or break your run through turn 12 and up towards turn 13. Again using the curb on the entry and getting onto those brakes then. Takes it in third gear, running it out towards the outside curb, just about manages to keep it on, and then you're barreling towards the final 2 corners on the lap. The hard braking zone at turn 14, where you just about clip that apex, and in the exit of a turn 15. Nice and cautious there, and he powers down. Who's going to grab pole position though? It is looking like a virtuosi 1-2 in the end, and Toxic I think just about getting the better of it, and starts his championship defence off in a perfect manner, grabbing that pole. At least I believe he did. Let's run through the order then. Yes, Toxic getting that pole possession, but not much in it there. Campbell ran it very close. I'll leave it to James to run you through the results.
Yeah, Toxic out on top by 500ths of a second from Campbell. So both Virtuosi's first and second. Lando with a good qualifying in third. Miami fourth, and Larkin in fifth for BWT HWA race lab. Say that when you're drunk. M. Short in sixth, with Nolan in seventh, Verstappen in eighth, Break in ninth, and Ryan filling out the top 10. So Dermot, Matthias, Chill, Tin Can Speed crown the top 15, and then Killer Blue, Josh, Dylan, and NSX Rocco. Dylan and Rocco being the exception rather than the rule, getting disqualified, but the whole field separated by 1.8 seconds out on track. Top 8 separated by less than 7.5 tenths of a second as well. Really, really good as we now come into the race.
Yes, the anticipation is going to be building higher than ever then, and you can see both of those Triumph cars, the constructors winners from last season, not getting off to a good start. They're going to have to try and work their way through the field. There's some slightly more features in the pit lane this time around, not many more, but I don't know
what is going on.
What is going on? It's very puzzling. As to hopefully that's not a sign that the lobby's breaking down. We haven't had any indication of that just yet, thankfully. So we should be able to get this underway safe and sound when it comes around. So yeah, of course the tyre choices the drivers having a bit more freedom with it. It's going to be interesting to see how many are going to go for that alternate strategy. Even some of the guys near the front might try and fancy their chances. But yeah, it's a perfect start to the season for Virtuosi. They took two of the top three finishers in the standings from last season, grabbed them up, and surely they're going to be one of the favourites to take home the constructors title this season.
Yeah, you would imagine. So I think Toxic and Campbell, both of course former champions, as we get underway now on the formation lap, 16 laps, awaiting these drivers out on track. What the University of Aussies will do, they're both on a set of medium compound tyres, mediums and hards being the two compound tyres available to the drivers here tonight. Rocco's already had a disqualification off on the grid. But what these guys would be hoping for, Toxic and Campbell, is that everyone just falls over each other in behind. We've got Lando, Miami, Larkin just in behind, primarily third, fourth and fifth. So they'll be hoping to try and get a really good start off the grid. Looking further down the field, the majority of the field looks like they're on the mediums, going to switch onto the hards. Probably around lap 6, I would imagine. It's quite a high tyre degradation circuit. On a set of hards, though, you've got Nolan, you've got Ryan, Matthias, Killer Blue and Josh. They're all on a set of hard compounded tyres, and they will be aiming to go around lap 10, lap 11 to go onto a medium set of tyres. About 4-5% per lap around here in terms of tyre deg.
Yeah, that of course, that is going to make a big difference into the strategies these guys are going to be running throughout the race. Certainly Nolan, I think, is the big strategy call that stands out there. Up in 7th place, going for that alternate. So he's got to be careful of that start, make sure he's not going to be losing too much up there. He's got to make sure he's going to try and keep himself in that top 10 at least to give himself a fighting chance in the back end of the race. Very intriguing front of the grid, of course. Miami and Larkin, they had a pretty strong qualifying between them. Miami getting the better of Larkin, who of course fought for the championship throughout last season. And of course, Toxic leading the way, but he doesn't have that strong pace advantage that he seemed to have at most of the races last season. He has got a very good start in the standings. He already has 4 points to his name. Can he add to that emphatically in this opening race? It's the first time we've been able to see all these guys on track together, racing as hard as they possibly can. So we'll see how that's going to end up. But Toxic, you sense that there is going to be some pressure on this man now. He's really backing up the pack here, guiding them round. Campbell going with him. And just going to come to you quickly, James. Before we get this race underway, what's your prediction for the top 3 in this opening race of the season?
Top 3, it's going to be quite interesting, I think, certainly within the feature race. I'm going to go Toxic for the win. I just think he might get the run off Campbell down in towards turn 1, and then you'll see the likes of Lando, Miami and Larkin try and go for the move for the lead. But Toxic, I think, will win. I'm thinking Campbell for second because I'm so lame in predicting these type of things. But for third, I think QVR Chill might have a good chance. He's on a set of mediums, down in 13th position. Watch out for him because he could be the quickest driver around the midfield, I think.
Well, he's going to have some work to do. Let's see if he can pull that one off then. We've been waiting for weeks to get this underway, but now everything is now settled for the 4th season of the League of Europe Formula 2. The grid now settled, and we are ready. Let's do this then. 60 laps ahead of us for this feature race. Who's going to get the best start from the front of the grid? The lights are coming on now. We can't see them, but we believe we have 5 lights. And season 4 is underway. It's a great start from second there. Campbell, I think, got a slightly better launch than Toxic there, but the second phase of the start is emphatically with Toxic, and he's going to lead the way then. Who's going to be second on the run down? Lay on the brakes. Lando lunges down the inside. Came from very far back, and he's now running for the race leader. Miami got away well. He's battling with Campbell then, and Lando tucked in under the rear wing of Toxic. They had so many battles throughout last season, and they're going at it again. I think that was Josh going off in the background as Lando trying to go all the way around the inside of turn 4. He's going to get squeezed out there, and Campbell will maintain P3 in front of Miami, in front of Larkin. They still run 4th and 5th there. It's a good start for Verstappen. He's outside of Autogear. Nolan just gets that done in a turn 6, and he confirms it, consolidates it in a turn 7. Behind there, Nolan's under pressure as a dive down the inside, further back from Zanima, and the Carlin runs out of road then, and Brake gets ready outside of him as M Short trying to hold that inside line. Oh, Nolan wheel to wheel through 9 and 10. They are absolutely going at it on this first lap of the season. Onto the curb as Nolan is spinner in the background. Brake losing the car, losing the rear end. Coming off of turn 10, out of the race. He retires as he recovered onto the track then, which is not good to see. But up the front, And we do have a full safety car. These notifications are not coming up on my screen. I'm not exactly sure why. But Toxic does maintain the lead at the start. Lando gave it a right good go at it, but not able to claim it. Toxic does hold that lead throughout a dramatic first lap.
Oh, you've got to feel sorry for Brake. I watched that entirety of the collision. You wouldn't think he hit the wall, would you? He did, and he must have hit it at about 5 miles an hour. He was trying to get the car re-going again. His front wing came off, and that was him out the race. Simple as that. That's what happened. Toxic out in front, though. Looking at the position gains, actually, out on track. Really good positions gained from Killer Blue, up 4 positions. Rocco up 3 positions as well. Chief Loser, of course, Brake out of the race, as we see a little bit of a glitch now going with the graphics on the left-hand side, which is not that great. But Sweet Crown as well has gained 2, Chill's gained 2, I know that for a fact as well. So we're now going to see them back up under the safety car. And Toxic is essentially the virtual Burt Marlander now out on track. Josh has picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. On lap 2, and it wouldn't be F2 without a safety car within the first 2 laps of the season starting.
Seemed almost inevitable, but the front of the grid was pretty clean, and we'll see if that's going to continue on there. Toxic maintaining that lead. Lando critically getting the jump on QVR Campbell and splitting those virtuosos up at the front of the field. So XL Lando putting himself in a fighting position. We'll see how he can work with that. The graphics have sorted themselves out, so we can run you through more position changes. Obviously, a headline Lando getting in front of Campbell. Good start for QVR Verstappen, moving up past Emshore and Nolan. Getting up there, Nolan got away pretty poorly initially, managed to recover to 7th somewhat and keep himself in that fight. But Verstappen running up better in 6th place, and I think this top 6, this top 7 maybe, is what we saw those guys being right up the front in the pre-season races, and they're showing that form yet again here in the opener of the season. It's those top 6 I think that really distinguished themselves throughout the particularly the USA round as being front level contenders, and they're showing that again. But obviously we are seeing them now going all at it in a full flowing contest. So yeah, this is going to be a fascinating dynamic across the season. For Toxic though, leading the way, he's been in this position before. He has won the last 2 Formula 2 championships, and he didn't really he didn't even get pressed in the final round in either of them. So he's got to be feeling confident. And so far, he hasn't really come under much pressure. Then Lando gave it a brief go, but we're going to see him tested for the first time really this season on the restart, which will probably be on the next lap, as we're still waiting for Josh to climb on to the rear of the field. So it's going to be so intriguing. And can Lando stay with Toxic? Those two shared so many memories out there on track last season. Are they going to go at it again? And can Campbell maybe try and get himself back up into the mix? We know his qualifying pace was very strong, so keep an eye out. It's going to be so thrilling. So many questions still to be asked in this first race of the season. On the 3rd lap, we shall surely get racing back out of the way. And the question is, can Toxic hold that race lead, and who are going to be the big winners and losers on that pack when we get the race back underway in a lap's time?
I think with the advantage, certainly, of the safety car probably coming in this lap, Toxic is going to try and back up the pack as much as possible, but he's got to make sure he backs up enough so that drivers don't fall over each other and they don't pick up 5-second penalties here and there. That's what we've seen before in Formula 1, better in Formula 2. That's the case, remains to be seen, of course. But Lando, I think, in the case of Lando, I think he's got to try and just stick to Toxic's back end. He's got to essentially be glued right to the back end of the University ahead. He's in the University sandwich as well, so Campbell could try and get Lando off the start, but Toxic will be hoping to try and just outgun Lando off the start. But Lando will be hoping Toxic has a little bit of a spin, and then Lando can get the lead running down in towards turn 1. We are halfway through the lap on lap 3. Toxic leading, Lando second, Campbell third. Safety car is about to come in. It will come in on the exit of turn 12 through in towards turn 13, because I know where the safety car goes out at around this point. I'm just going to keep on talking until I do predict that right. Toxic, Lando, Campbell coming through turn 12, and the safety car will go out round about now.
No. Oh, nearly.
Nearly. Both off.
We were pretty close on our predictions there. I was just watching it go over the line on the little mini-map at the side. that was my cue. But anyway, we're going to get this back on the way. And now, of course, Toxic is going to be backing up the pack. When will they plant the throttle and try and drive away from the chasing pack behind him? Will there be some communications between the Univirtuosos to try and get Campbell up in the second place? We'll see how that is going to work out there. we're heading towards turn 14. Toxic still holding them all back then. He's winning to the last corner. Is he going to punch away on the exit? He hesitates. He's running this right up to the line here. Not wanting to give these guys a slipstream. He wants to try and limit the damage that can be done against him, but away he goes and there's chaos behind. Lando to back off. Miami shoots straight through and Lando drives straight to the pit lane. He can do that because this is mandatory pit stop. But look at this then. BWTs are attacking Campbell. Got him in a sandwich then. To the outside is Miami. To the inside is Larkin. Can Campbell hold them both off? There's the sweep through turn 1 as Wadema does pick up a penalty back then. And a bit of contact and a bit of scuffling further down the pack then in this race. But Toxie jumps well up ahead at the front of the field. Larkin tucks in a 3rd place behind it then, and he is tracked by his team at Miami and Verstappen in 6th and 5th place, at the moment there. So is battling away. They can see with QVR. Shelley tries to run it. Round the inside of turn 6. Down the inside of turn 7. Gets pinched onto the apex and will have to cede that place for the time being, running it up behind. And he's looking for a switchback, but can't quite do it. All angles are coming off by the Dutchman as he headed to turns 9 and 10. But what an intriguing strategy that was from Lando further down the field, as that was, who was that running right out wide there behind?
Ryan.
So Ryan dropping back then, and yeah, he's down into 8th place, then down to a track here. You can see further down the field that Killer Blue losing a few places as well. You got Rocco and Sweet Crown battling away then. Sweet Crown trying to pop it down the inside of turn 11 and round the outside of turn 12. Can he pull that one off then? He's sweeping, stays on the throttle. Now to turn 13, still side by side. Can Sweet Crown get that one done on the exit? They're still side by side, nothing between them. And now Matthias looking to try and grab that slipstream down the inside of the pair of them. They're going 3-1 here. Matthias backs out on the inside as Rocco on the inside as well as Matthias gets up and alongside and nearly through. Here we go now, battling down the back straight then over the line to start the 5th lap as we have a few pairs there. That's Larkin and M Short. They dive to the pit lane. Look at this, down the inside goes Rocco. Oh my word, look at this, 3-1 again, and Matthias sweeping around the outside gets it done. Brilliant stuff from Matthias. He now runs in 9th place with Rocco behind Sweet Crown. Still battling with Killer Blue up in the front of the field. There's Miami holding on for Verstappen who runs it out wide through turn 4, still fading it at turn 6. Has to get out of that one. Miami maintains that 3rd position and they are still battling down the field. Killer Blue running Josh out of space. This is remarkable. It is not over yet. Down the inside, Rocco reclaims that 9th place from Matthias. Great move in a turn 8 then. I need to catch my breath, James. That action was phenomenal.
Absolutely brilliant. We have Verstappen right on the back of Miami. Rocco's just gone a little bit too deep. In fact, it's actually Matthias, that's gone a little bit too deep. And now him and Sweet Crown, the Dutch against the Germans, they won't be liking this battle, but we're liking it certainly out on track as now he tries to go around the outside in towards turn 11. Can he get the move done? No, he can't. Matthias has to hang on, but he's on the outside line now, coming through turn 12 and then through 13. He will have the traction around the outside. He's got the tyres as well. He's on a set of hards. But I don't think he's going to get the move done. He switches to the inside, and now he'll get the formidable traction off the corner. Still, Killer Blue is trying to get into this as well. Killer Blue, I think, had a half spin coming out of turn 10 on the previous lap, on lap 4, and that is why. As we see Toxic spin into the pit lane, 5-second penalty for spinning into the pits. Now Matthias has got the move done on Sweet Crown, and Sweet Crown's now going to be bullied out of 2 positions. We're going to have 3 wide. Josh could even catch up and make it 4 wide, but now Killer Blue to the outside line. He's in the sandwich, running down the middle, down the straight. Can he get them on the brakes? Sweet Crown backs off. Matthias is still there. Killer Blue, Sweet Crown is there on the inside line, in fact, but Killer Blue's got it done. Killer Blue is through. Brilliant, brilliant racing. And we've got Ryan right on the back of Nolan as well, just in the foreground. A shot coming through turn 4, and I think Ryan has just shoved Nolan out the way, and he's soon up to 3rd.
Wow, look at this action. I'm looking to some of the lead battling just to make sure things are still going on there. Lando's undercut didn't quite work out. Toxic keeps the lead, but with that penalty, Larkin maintains possession in front of QVR Verstappen. Verstappen, though, will be looking to be grabbing front of Miami. They are still racing. Look at this in this midfield. And Killer Blue holding the ball off now for the time being. And he's now finally running the line. Heading in a turn at 10. Matthias getting very close to the back of the Carlin driver. Just settles in last minute again. Nolan trying to come back and XL Ryan getting right onto his rear wing as they head through turns 11 and 12, but he will just stay in a line for the time being. But Autogear Nolan looking very, very threatening. These are the first two in terms of the hard runners, and we're looking for the first two in the race to probably come in at the end of this lap. How much progress has Campbell made on this lap to maybe try jump potentially up with Lando, as now Nolan and Ryan are battling yet again into turn 14. Ryan with a switchback. Nolan grabs the place briefly, but now Ryan gets back up and alongside and draws clear surely with a DRS to grab the race leader on track as the leaders do finally come in then on lap 6. And where will they emerge? Where will they come out? As we got Chill going for a move on Nolan. He just ran out wide there, I think. Yeah, just misjudged his braking point. As they all still run the line. Yep.
Yeah, he misjudged it completely. Chill. He misjudged it completely. I thought, honestly, he was going to go into the back of Nolan. Then, I think it was just a failure of the brakes, maybe, on his setup. I don't know. Lando, by the way, is battling with Toxic, running down towards turn 1, and now tries to go around the outside. That lap pressure tyres really coming into play for Lando. Toxic, though, leading. Net lead out on track. Lando right on the back fence, but he's not going to get the run up towards turn 4. Killer Blue's right on the back of Matthias still, and Nolan's still on the back of Ryan.
And we've also got M Short trying to battle away with it. Miami who got squeezed out by Verstappen. There's the end of turn 4 then. Side by side, absolutely together. And I think it was Josh going off there at turn 4, as you mentioned. So he's made the mistake, is now still battling away. It's M Short who squeezes his way through. Oh, Miami, he lost out on that pit exit. Had to yield 2 places there. First to Verstappen and then to M Short. And that battle over 9th, 10th and 11th at the moment. So M Short coming forward. We do have a few penalties to come into play though, and the big one is with Toxic MML. He and Lando have drawn quite far clear, it must be said, through that pit stop window, but will that maintain then? Of course, Campbell could just try and stay within that 5-second window, and Lando looks hungry for this. He knows Toxic has a penalty, but judging by just his attitude, driving so close to the back of Toxic, he may well be looking to find a way through sometime soon. The last of the medium stars in is QVR Sheldon on lap 7. That seats that 3rd place to Matthias. Killer Blue tucked in underneath him. There is still Nolan hassling Ryan. This has been one of the highlights of the race so far, and they are still going at it. Nolan looking to the inside of turn 4, will hang back for the moment. They're looking to that inside line, will not quite follow through with that. Lando is chasing down Toxic again, looking to the inside line, but he's being smart about this. He knows he doesn't have to go too aggressive at this stage in the race, and Toxic is going to be picking up the pressure constantly as now Killer Blue trying to get a run on Matthias, cuts to the outside, heading at turn 8 then, is going to get caught off, look for the accident, hops over the curb, Matthias makes the mistake, forced into it, and Killer's up in a 3rd place. Those guys exchanging positions again, it's all up in the front, it got a spinner. Nolan going off then into the wall, I think that was, and is he going to recover that? There he is again, the same mistake we saw for Brake on the 1st lap. Nolan stays in the race, but he just about to get away without damage, DC. Wow.
Unbelievable. Lando's right on the back of Toxic as well. He's so hungry that he's actually lagging on my screen to try and get the smooth done on the back of Toxic. Campbell 3.3 seconds away. Now these guys have not got to be that hesitant, I think. They've got to try and go for it because Campbell and Verstappen and the likes behind on fresher tyres will begin to catch. Toxic's got 2 lap pressure tyres over Lando, and he's got to try and utilise that to great effect as well. We've got Sweet Crown and Chill having a good battle further down the field as well. They're coming in towards turn 11, and Chill is hanging off Sweet Crown for now. Chill not going to get my 3rd position, certainly, but Toxic and Campbell not either going to get 1st and 2nd by the looks of it either. Certainly Campbell won't. He won't get 2nd, but Toxic will, so I guess 1 out of 3 isn't too bad.
Actually, Campbell, I think at the moment is still on for 2nd because he'll be jumping Toxic with his 5-second penalty at the moment. Toxic does set the fast lap of the race. He's trying to break away from Lando, and Campbell may still be in this yet because I don't think Lando's got the outright speed of these guys with his older tyres, but he's just trying to stick with him as we go. I think that's Killer Blue off at turn 7 or turn 5 maybe, I think that was then, spinning off and now behind Matthias.
Yeah, he recovered it well. He just had a bit of a half moment, I think, with Matthias. Matthias threw as a result of a mistake. It was Matthias last lap around, remember, who made a mistake. And now Killer Blue's actually going to try and come back at him, running up towards turns 9 and 10. This tricky double left-hander. Matthias gets the car stopped and he hangs on to the position for second. Killer Blue third. Nolan in fourth. Toxic, though, 6/10 of a second over Lando for the net race lead. Campbell 3.2 seconds away. Yeah, honestly, I think Toxic might be out of the podiums at this point because Verstappen 1.5 seconds behind. I make that gap out about 5.3 seconds currently. Verstappen comes into play and Toxic begins to fall back on Lando and the two behind catch. Verstappen's not out of this for the top three.
It's about 5.4 seconds just looking at the gap to the leader. So, yeah, they're certainly not out of this just yet. And Verstappen has the same age of tyres as Toxic, so he does have a fighting chance at this. Let's see if he can pull through with that then. Especially if Lando fancies his chances. Maybe trying to throw a move on Toxic as they head through turn 13 to the 10th time. And the feature race then. It's been a thriller to kick off the season with. What are we going to see towards the checkered flag? It's Killer Blue now attacking Matthias again. The back and forth battle continues. The pendulum may swing again. Killer Blue runs wide though out of turn 1 and Matthias rounding outside of turn 2. They get incredibly close to the exit. But with DRS, the advantage is with Matthias. But is the place with him though? Killer Blue's not giving this one up then. Trying to go round the outside of turn 4. A little bit of wheelback in between them. But the place is just secured by Matthias. Matthew 40 just about gets that position in front of Killer Blue, and Ryan up front in a 6-second gap now. He is really flying at this stage, driving superbly as Ryan, and you sense that when he puts the mediums on in the back half of the race, the mediums didn't look too bad in the first then. So maybe XL Ryan, but depending on where he comes out, he could score very highly here, as I think we have had Zaumer, who's had a pretty disastrous race just in front of him, nearly a lap down on the current race leader. But look at this, Ryan, I wonder where he'll emerge, because you know, the field is relatively close, so if he's coming out in the back of a train, he can maybe pick his way through. XL Ryan, with that reverse strategy, could be on for a very strong finish in this first race of the season here.
I think he'll come out ahead of Rocco. Looking at the pit lane around here, it's about 23 seconds. The gap currently to Rocco is, 33.5. So I think he's going to filter in, maybe in amongst anywhere between Campbell and Miami, I think, might be the best way to say it. It's about a 3-second advantage for Ryan. Let's see if he's going to come into the pits this lap. No. Stays out at least another lap. Matthias and Killer Blue as well. They're now going to come into the pit. Matthias certainly is, and Killer Blue responds in behind. So the sidebacks boy is in. The XL boy in behind them is also in. And Nolan continues on as well, as Matthias has picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. How many times have we seen that tonight? Lando beginning to attack Toxic as well on the run down towards turn 1. Matthias, remember, putting on a set of mediums. Killer Blue as well onto a set of medials. Lando, new fastest lap of the race. I don't think he's going to be close enough down in towards turn 1. I know he's not. He's not close enough to the back of Toxic. Toxic runs slightly wide out of the curb. But now, through turn 2 and 3, he can put the power down. I think if Lando's not got a sensational run up the hill here, I think Toxic is going to hold on. P3 currently, but remember, it's for the net race lead. Matthias and the likes looking in behind. Matthias has came out in 12th position, and Ryan, I think, is going to come out just ahead of Rocco.
Yeah, he's going to be able, between that gap at least, between Miami and Rocco, we'll see how, we're going to get a good indication there with Matthias' pace. He's got Larkin directly in front of him, who's not had the best of time of it so far in this race. Not actually sure what's happened to Larkin, because he is rather far off at this stage, so really struggling down there as the former championship contender from last season. He's got to try and pick up his form. I'm sure he'll try to, going through the remainder of the season. So I'm expecting Ryan and Nolan to be on this lap there. Miami. What's happening?
Miami's had a half spin coming out of turn 10. I think he's just got away with a bit of damage there. But goodness me, there's a half spin coming out of turn 10. I think he got caught on the outside curb. Really difficult to see if he's got some wing damage off this shoddy camera angle, but he hasn't. He's kept it out the wall just about. Ryan is into the pit lane from the lead of the race as well. Nolan also filters in on lap 11. Ryan then, I think, is going to come out maybe a second or two ahead of Rocco.
Well, let's see if you're going to be right in that prediction. And through a very poorly rendered pit lane, XL Ryan does go through the pit stop then. And is he going to emerge in front of Nolan? Just about will there by a few car lengths. So he gets out safe and sound. And now thundering down. And you can see he is jumped by the race leaders. Lando getting very close to Toxic yet again. But currently, the defending champion repelling all of his attacks. And where is Ryan gonna emerge then? He is gonna be close actually with these guys, closer than I expected. He's gonna dive into turn one and pinch point onto the apex. And they're saying by thing through turn one and through turn two. Rocco just about salvages the place, but XL Ryan has the DRS to try and fight back heading towards turn four. Is he gonna send one down the inside? No, he's more sensible than that, and he will hold on to 8th place, but just about missing out. And that, even though he's probably gonna get past Rocco, just losing him that little bit of time that he couldn't afford to lose if he wants to try and make this own strategy work. So Ryan, still having to sit behind Rocco, is swimming pretty well, I must say, in this race, maintaining that 7th as it stands. But yeah, you've got Ryan, you've got Tin Can tucked in behind there, Larkin not too far behind, but can Ryan find a way through? He's going to open up that DRS, but it was a decent enough exit coming over turn 10 from Rocco. Is that going to save him though? XL Ryan coming at him again, but he is just too far away. Heading into turn 11, all this time being lost. He's still got a shot at Miami. We'll see what he does then. Heading to turn 12, again tucked under the rear wing, but it's not a big braking zone at turn 13. Can't get through just yet. This is the closest battle on track, apart from M Short, who is beginning to hone in on QVR Verstappen, who in that battle over 4th and 5th at the moment. They're Toxic fastest lap. He's still trying to break away from that DRS, but as he left it too late to pull out the gap that he absolutely needs, and that's right as Ryan gets very close to the rear wing of NSX. Rocco surely will pull to the inside line, and yes, he controls alongside on the straight. DRS open 300 kilometers an hour and will cruise straight through and up into that 7th place. Rocco nearly runs into the back of him, but just about manages to survive. Rocco down into 8th then. We'll see if he can hold on, see if he can stretch that gap behind, because he does have a penalty to his name. As up at the front, Lando struggling a bit more there. That age of those tires beginning to come back to him, I think. And now Toxic almost just about straddling with that outside of DRS then. It may well be too little too late, but Toxic in these last few laps is rallying and doing everything he possibly can to at least get a 2nd place here.
And yeah, 5 seconds now is completely the gap between Toxic and Campbell. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that gap, I think it's going to go out and out, possibly to about 6 seconds by the end of this race for Toxic and to Campbell. Rocco nearly into the back of Ryan, goodness me, down in towards turns 9 and 10. Larkin catching Tin Can as well. And we've got Chill being caught by Sweet Crown and Matthias catching Larkin as well. I think we're going to have a mid-pack battle to save her from 9th all the way downwards, to be honest. Killer Blue also catching as well as Nolan.
Yeah, so they are all converging on each other in these final laps of the race. Look at Larkin though, he's right on the rear wing of XL Tin Can, but can't quite get through for the moment. Heading into turn 13 for the 4th to last time, and another fastest lap from Toxic. He is stretching his legs, but he hasn't broken Lando just yet, and still the Dams car, the Dams driver, is sticking right with his rival, who fought for so many race wins. This one, most of their battles have went the way of Toxic. This one is looking like it will go the way of XL Lando as it stands. Larkin though, further back, draws alongside XL Tin Can, and surely will get the move done in turn 1, and completes it on the brakes. Larkin is up into that 9th place then. Behind you can see Matthias trying to reel both of them in. Can he maybe find a way through as Tin Can has the DRS, but he will not get close enough surely to make any sort of major difference. So you can see this mid-pack then. They are fighting very, very intensely. And still, it is poised for these final 3 laps of the race. Then can Matthias make progress on those fresher, softer tyres? He reels in Tin Can, can't get through for the moment. It's up in the front. Lando's sticking with Toxic, but Toxic now, I think you were right in saying that. He is getting himself just about out of that 5-second window. The gap between them, I think, is 5.2 seconds. So Cam will need to find something here in these last 2 laps, or Toxic will see it through. Just over 2 laps to go, the defending champion, even with a penalty, looking like he could get 2nd place and keep his champion hopes alive in the early part of this season.
Well, that man there, the Dams of Lando, is right in behind him, and is just there. He's like a rash that wouldn't really go away. He's like the chicken pox in a kid, to be honest, as he tries to go onto the back of Toxic. He cannot be get rid of. It's as simple as that. M Short catching Verstappen as well. He's as close as I've ever seen him, to be honest, M Short, and he is filling in, of course, for Risa. Not a bad reserve to fill in for either. He is now on the back of Verstappen. Is he going to get the run down and towards turn one? He's got the DRS now open. Has he got the closing speed? I think it's going to be side by side, right on the entry into the corner. Here comes M Short. This is the position. This is the fourth. Down the inside he goes. Can he get the car stopped? Just about in the Prima. And I think Verstappen is going to allow him that one. But Verstappen,
Whoa!
right around the outside. Brilliant stuff by Verstappen. He is through. M Short just took it too gingerly. There's all sorts of carnage kicking off at the background as well. Larkin is through on Tin Can. Tin Can now under pressure by Matthias. And now Matthias right on the back of Tin Can. Running up the hill and towards turn 4. Can the blindness of that car begin to get him round the outside for P10? Round the outside he goes. He's on a set of mediums. Everyone is so close to contact with Matthias. I think it's going to get through here. He is. He's round the outside. Through into the S section. Brilliant move, and he's through and he's up to 10th.
And that was a hard-fought battle, but Tin Can just had to let that one go in the very end. You saw that battle there up the road between Verstappen and M Short. M Short looked to have the move done, but as you mentioned, was just a little bit too hesitant and gave that up. And he needs to fight for this because Miami currently behind is within his penalty range, and it's not out of the question that Ryan on those first tyres may well be able to get himself with it as well. We are now heading towards the final lap in the race, and Toxic still leads. He's led all the way through, but he may not yet win it because of a superb drive for Lando with that undercut that he pulled off on older tyres. He has not relinquished that DRS, and he's stuck with the two-time reigning champion as we head on to the final lap of the season opener here in Bahrain. Looking to the inside as Lando, but he knows he doesn't even need to make that move stick as they enter turn 1 for the final time. Toxic will win this on track, I believe, but he may not win it overall. But he does seem to have that second place pretty much wrapped up now as he's outpaced his teammate Campbell going through the second half of this race. Still, M Short relentlessly chasing down Verstappen. He's just about broken Miami, so that 5th place may well be rewarded with for the reserve driver. We have a very good reward for a driver that's still very inexperienced in his Formula 2 cars. He's done a very solid job here tonight, and it looks like he will hold on to that P5. Verstappen will go from 8th to 4th. That's a solid enough drive, as we are seeing some very close battling further down the field. Matthias is right with Larkin on this final lap. Biggest surprise, heading into turn 8 then, but he holds off from trying that inside run. Gets a good exit though, but he's not going to draw alongside. Heading into turn 9, we'll have to set back just for the time being. But will he ever run with DRS? He does have a penalty to his name, but he needs to get every 10th, every 100th he can find out of that race time. He has a DRS of Larkin 4S then. Is he going to pull to the inside line? No, he's sitting back there. Doesn't look like he's interested in this manoeuvre. But up at the front, Toxic ML, the reigning champion, the pole sitter. He's done everything he needed to do besides that pit lane entry that has cost him dearly. Lando chased him all the way. Toxic crosses the line, but the opening race will go to XL Lando, who kicks off his season with a bang and with the fastest lap on the last lap to boot then. It's 3rd place will go the way of QVR Campbell in front of his former teammate Verstappen, who holds off M Short to the line, and Matthias trying to get up to Larkin to the line, opens up the DRS, tries to pull alongside, can't quite make it, and he does drop back emphatically in the final results. To run you through it was Miami in 6th place, Ryan 7th, couldn't quite chase him down, Larkin in P8, 9th goes to Tin Can, 10th to QBR Chill in the end now, so he may recover slightly, not what he would have hoped, I'm sure. Rocco 11th, Killer Blue 12th, Matthias in 13th after the penalty, Nolan in 14th, again disappointed with that mistake we saw earlier on in the race. Dylan, mistake, ridden race to 15th there, then his Sweet Crown, Josh and Zenema will round off the finishers for what will be the first round of the League of Europe Formula 2 Championship for Season 4 Division 1, and XL Lando with a perfect start to the season with the race win and with the fastest lap. Let's see if he can carry it through, starting from 8th place in that sprint race. Let's see what he can make of it then against Toxic and Campbell, starting from further back in the field. Should be a spectacle, and my oh my are we looking forward to it.
Yep, top 8 of course going to get reserved for the reversed, I should say, for the sprint race. So we'll see Larkin on pole, Ryan second, Miami in third, with them coming across the line there to finish in 18th position. Only one DNF, and it was the most unfortunate DNF you'll probably ever seen and break. Literally going into the wall at about 5 miles an hour. Driver of the Day is awarded to NSX Rocco. Really good performance from Rocco in his debut here within the F2, in the F2 cars, certainly this season. Let's have a look then at the podium celebrations. And eventually, when they'll load, we should see that man there. Celebrating, of course, his 52nd birthday yesterday, Michael Schumacher. But it is Lando to the top step of the podium. And that is going to take a lot of beating, certainly, in terms of performance this season. But sprint race to come. Are you ready?
I certainly hope so, and I hope you guys are ready as well, watching from afar. There is your podium for the first round of the season. It's Lando on top from Toxic and from Campbell. Then a great opening race to kick things off, and the sprint race you suspect will be even more action-packed. The race win goes to XL Lando in front of Toxic and in front of Campbell. Then he beats both the Univirtuosos to the flag here tonight. Verstappen climbs up to 4th from 8th on the grid. Good drive from Verstappen. Then he caps off a solid haul of points then in front of M Short, the reserve driver, getting away well in that 5th position. Then it's Miami then dropping down to 6th place, and it's not a great race for BWT in general. Ryan, Larkin, Tin Can and Chill round at the top 10. Then outside the top 10 is going to be Rocco, Killer Blue, Matthias, Nolan, Dylan, Sweetcrown, Josh Zaudermatt, with Brake not seeing out the checkered flag. I believe Larkin will start the sprint race from pole position, and we'll see what he can make of that. And you suspect that it'll be difficult for anyone to grab that lead from him. So we are going to be seeing that top of the grid reversed. Again, an unrendered pit lane. That has accompanied us all the way through tonight. And we're going to get into the sprint race very shortly. Of course, everyone should be on the same tyre strategy. It should be all the way to the checkered flag. No pit stops, just a straight up, old-fashioned race. Fastest driver wins. Let's see how that is going to unfold. Of course, with the likes of Lando, Toxic, Campbell starting further down the field, the question is how well can they make it through the field. I certainly know that last season Campbell was known as the sort of master of the sprint races there. He took quite a number of sprint race victories over the season. I think it was at least 4 of them. So he does have a pretty good record in that regard, and Toxic has been known to come through the field as well very nicely when he gets it right. So we'll see how that is going to unfold then forward. It's going to be something of a twilight race to set things off then. Larkin and Ryan is that front row, and it is going to be those BWTs up at the front of the field challenging up there. And we're going to be seeing again, could we see the other Dams car of XL Ride take the fight to a leading force at the front of the race then? We saw Lando manage to win that race then in the feature race. Can maybe Ryan do the same against those BWTs? But you sense that he won't only be fighting those guys, because there's a whole host of very fast drivers behind them going to be hunting them down as well.
Yeah, I think Ryan's going to be, honestly, under pressure from Miami and M Short off the start. I think Larkin is probably going to get the best start out of everyone. Him being on the cleaner side of the grid, him being on pole position would aim him to get that second phase of the start, as you saw in the feature race for Toxic, was so important because initially he didn't get a good getaway. But if he gets the gears right, if he gets the second phase of the start right, Larkin will be there in the lead of the race, running down in towards turn 1. Watch out, I think, for Dylan further down the field, with Dema further down the field as well. They're going to be one of the two of the guys to watch, I think. Killer Blue in amongst that mould as well in 12th. I may as well just go for the bottom 9, to be honest, if I keep on saying everyone like that. But Larkin out on top, Ryan Tech and Miami 3rd. Of course, sprint race action still to come. Last time I commentated on a sprint race here in League of Europe, I think it literally went down to about 5 safety cars, nearly. So, yeah, that was a bit of a shame. But TTML as well, I've commentated on the sprint racing there. And if it's anything like that, we are in for an absolute treat, as Tin Can and Killer Blue have had a crash.
On the formation lap, they will have a bit of a disadvantage heading through the start of the race. We'll see if they can maybe make anything of that start, though, a little bit. And that midfield is going to be absolutely fierce. You can make every bet on that. So, Larkin, he found himself in pole position not many times last season for the sprint race, though. The reverse grid race, he will find himself up the front of the grid. how much can he make of it then? Can he get off the line well? His starts at times were superb throughout last season. He's going to need a good one to maintain it in front of a hungry pack behind him then, who I'm sure will be looking all to try and work their way forward, but not all of them can, of course. That is the nature of racing, and we're going to be seeing some of that racing here today. I'm going to hand over to James to take us through the start of that sprint race. Larkin and Ryan in the front row, who's going to be leading, heading down to the turn 1.
It's going to be fascinating, Dan, isn't it? It's going to be 12 laps worth of crazy carnage action. I think that's what we can best describe this sprint race as being. Here we go, though. The 5 red lights are about to come on. If they're not already, they are probably on now. And we're about to get underway. It's Larkin underway, and it's lights out, and away we go. Larkin gets a good start, very good start as well by Lando. He's already jumped Campbell off the start. Short look in the initial second phase, and now it did Larkin because Ryan's up the inside of him, running down in towards turn 1. Ryan down the inside is a dive bomb from an absolute mile back from, I think that was Toxic being caught up by Nolan. I think he got caught up in that as all sorts of carnage, and a VSC is being deployed in the sprint race. I did say carnage. Tin Can was the one that's got caught up in a 5-second penalty with Josh, and now everyone has to go down to 40%. But that was a dive bomb and a half from whoever that was down the inside, and it's just caused all sorts of carnage. Toxic and Killer Blue and Zmadema also, and Lando got caught up in that as well.
What a mess on that opening lap. As now we do get back on the way immediately, very, very quickly. But yeah, that was absolute chaos. Unorganised chaos, it must be said. Down the field, that's dramatically shake up the order there as Toxic lunges down the inside of Josh and runs right off the track then. And Toxic is in trouble here as he's now in the cover of Killer Blue in behind. So Toxic got caught up there as down the inside. Oh, Killer Blue, he's done a Calamilo who runs out wide and there's contact and he has to draw back behind Dylan there, of course, causing that contact then. Killer just misjudging that braking zone and he does give it up to Matthias then, who tucks him out to Dylan, up in front of the races. Verstappen and M Short battling away there. Verstappen trying to sweep all the way around into the turn 12 and 13. Is M Short going to give him the space? Yes, he is. So the momentum is going to be with QVR. Verstappen draws alongside it. Can he get his front wing just ahead? Heading into the final corner of the first lap then. Who's going to come in on top of this one? There's still, side by side, incredible respect from the pair of them. And now QVR Chow, who got an amazing start, is now lining up the pair of them and looking to the inside line, and they are 3 abreast down the main straight. Who's going to come out on top here? On the right, Verstappen on the left, Chill in the middle, M Short as Josh out of the race. I don't have a terrible camera angle, but I see M Short's going off at turn 1, went over the top of one of the high-tech cars and drops well down the field then after a manic battle. As up the field we still have Verstappen and Chill battling away those killers now out the race. And that's now sweeping around the outside. Verstappen is able to get in front then in what has been an absolutely chaotic opening to the race. I can barely get my words out then as the graphics have set themselves out with Larkin leading the way as Rocco now making a move on QVR. Campbell, can he get that one done? The switch back with Campbell to the inside lane as he does have damage, so you can see on that left end plate. So Rocco has that advantage and he has that place then on the exit of turn 10. It's been incident central in these first 2 laps then, but the front of the field's been pretty static with the front 2 then. Larkin leads, Ryan second, but what a start this has been for High Tech. They run in a very strong position, and now Verstappen with a clear run at the front 2 then, up 2 from the start. He'll be fancying his chances then. We know the pace, the speed that he has, and now Ryan and Larkin have to look over their shoulder.
Toxic down the inside of Miami, gets the car stopped coming through turn 13. Brilliant move there by Toxic, and Miami's got damage as well on that right side end plate. These old balls forcing like Nikita Mazepin, running down the hill and towards turn 14. Miami is not going to be happy with that at all, but Toxic right to defend the position, right to defend that, and he's through, and side by side between Rocco and Chill, who I think has had a bit of a half spin coming out, but the second phase running down the straight could be Chill to try and get Rocco back, running down in towards turn 1. Just the racing getting a little bit greedy, I think, out on track by a few, getting a little bit aggressive by a few as well. Matthias is down the inside of his teammates. Dylan, they go now side by side, round the outside of turn 2 because Matthias, can he get the move done? Not quite, and now M Short can get both of them, running up towards turn 4. Matthias is going to try and defend this. Dylan to the outside line, I think got punted off slightly by Matthias. M Short's gone way wide. and Matthias, and M Short is still side by side. Unbelievable stuff. M Short ran the outside, puts him on the curb. Matthias trying to get him onto the curb. So Crown is now joining in, but Dem is joining in on this as well. Verstappen is now on the back of Ryan. Please take over before my voice gives in.
As M Short and Matthias are still battling away, hitting a turn 10 there, but M Short will secure that place. It was a bit of contact for the back then with Dylan. Absolutely superb stuff in this midfield, but M Short just been able to sustain that place at the moment with Matthias having to tuck him behind. You did mention Verstappen's charge. He now runs on the rear wing of XL Ryan and has a real shot at maybe fighting for the race win here if you can clear the dam sometime soon, who still has the RS of the race leader Larkin, who has not been able to break away just yet. We're heading now on to the fourth lap of this Bahrain sprint race. Again, been a thriller, but also been a bit incident central. Let's see how this battle over second place is going to unfold though. DRS for the pair of them, but is Verstappen going to hold in XL Ryan heading towards the first corner here? What is Ryan going to do in his defence? And he leaves the door open. Verstappen not fully committed though. We'll have to sit him behind
Toxic!
just for now as we got Toxic.
Goodness me, nearly went in for his teammate. He was that brilliant on the brakes. Campbell's ran wide, and now this is Toxic up to P6. Unbelievable stuff by Toxic. He is through, and he's up into 6th position. That dive bomb was literally Daniel Ricciardo and Nikita Mazepan-esque. Absolutely unbelievable. And Toxic through, and he's up into 6th. Tinkan's trying to go around the outside of Campbell, but he can't get the move done, and Campbell holds sway for 7th. How far did Toxic go back on the brakes? That was insane.
Just launching it down the inside, and it was Campbell who ended up making the error. He just about had sewn up the place, but he did make that mistake and drops down in 7th place. Now with Tin Can reeling it at him in from behind as they cruise out of turn 10 for the 4th time in a sprint race, and still the action unfolding out there on the circuit. You can see that battle over the race lead. Larkin is so close to breaking Ryan, and Ryan looking like he's a bit more vulnerable to attack from Verstappen, who still sits right with him. He's taking his time with this though. He wants to get it done and not lose too much time, but Ryan, you suspect, will fight within an inch of his life to maintain that 2nd position. So here we go now, on to the 5th lap, and still Larkin 4S, who won several races throughout last season, leads the way for Verstappen, running out wide though. Looks like he made a bit of an error off that last corner, and Ryan, meanwhile, just fight another day. They head down the straight for the 5th time, and yes, Ryan will hold on there. Verstappen is not quite close enough just yet. And XL Ryan defending that then, as you got Tin Can attacking Campbell now. Down into the turn 1, and Campbell cannot fight it. Through goes Tin Can. He now runs in 7th position, getting in front of QVR Campbell, who is really struggling out there. I'm not sure if he's maybe got a bit of damage on that car, because this isn't characteristic Campbell. Let's have a look then. I think he does have head plate damage, and maybe that was resulted from a bit of contact with Toxic. I'm not exactly sure of the circumstances of that, but Campbell is going to suffer surely. Goes out the remainder of this race. Tin Can now past him, and he since Miami will be reining him in too. It's been a horrible now sprint race for QVR Campbell, and now you sense that Miami will surely get a run at him now in the next few laps.
Oh my god. Verstappen nearly into the back. He's actually got the move done on Ryan in the end. He's got the move done through turn 10. Absolutely unbelievable scenes. It was like PG-18, if I've got to be honest with that move. But Verstappen is through, and he's up into 2nd. Ryan down to 3rd. Probably can see each other out on track, just a case of a little bit of a desync. But Verstappen anyways is through, and he's up into 2nd. I think it was a case of if, not when. No, when, not if, I think, in terms of Verstappen getting through on Ryan.
Yeah, he has managed to get that move done. Now, can he chase down that 1.6 second gap to the race leader Larkin, who is driven flawlessly up in the front? Can he keep that going for just half the race more? We have 7 laps between us and the checker flag now. Over the line, a gap 1.5 seconds between them. And XL Ryan with DRS, but he will surely not be near enough heading into that first corner. Now it says Verstappen can just ease the pressure off and put the pressure on the race leader up at the front of the race. As it stands at the moment, they're Toxic again is chasing down this time, but his former teammate QVR Chell, and there'll be no team orders here now. Of course, they do not share the same car, so they're going to be going at it is further down the field. Short and Matthias battling away further back. Dylan and Sweet Crown are battling away, but Toxic now to the inside line on QVR Chill. Hops over the curb on the inside line. He hasn't got this one just yet. Oversteer on the exit. Will hand the place back to Chill, who is fighting within an inch of his life and will hold on to it as the end in a turn 8 and enter a lunge from Toxic. Looks to the inside line, touches the rear end of QVR Chill, but he will just about stay in front of Toxic, cannot quite get through as it stands, and has to wait in behind and wait for his moment as Chill running out wide through turn 10. Surely this is only a matter of time for the reigning champion to get through then. Has the DRS activated, pulls towards the inside line in a turn 11. Late on the brakes is Toxic, running it out wide. Chill forced onto the curb. They race incredibly close, but through goes Toxic in a 5th place. Next up is Rocco, who's serving very well, it must be said, and Larkin with a penalty up the front. That's absolutely crucial. Now the pendulum swings towards Verstappen. Now surely the favourite for this race win.
Yep, got that on the exit of turn 13, I think, Larkin. So that now means Verstappen is favoured, as you say, for the race when he's now within DRS, but he will not pick up DRS running down the straight because he wasn't close enough. He does, however, pick up the fastest lap of the race. Toxic responding well, but Chill. Can he take a Chill pill to try and get this move done on the back? Trying to go around the outside now in towards turn 1. He's got the car ahead, but Toxic so much later on the brakes, and he holds the move for 5th. The Univirtuosi stays ahead. We've got Sweet Crown as well, battling out with with Dylan running down in towards turn 1. Dylan on the inside line, Sweet Crown now on the outside line through turn 2. Chiller's coming back at Toxic as well, trying to go around the outside of turn 4. Sorry if Dan's trying to keep up with all the action out on track, but Toxic is 5th, Chill in 6th, and Dylan and Sweet Crown side by side. Sweet Crown through, and he's up into 12th.
Yes, just about nothing in front of Dylan, who has to slow it behind 8 turn 6 then, nearly running into the rear wing of the German, but he will just sit in behind, or well, he looks to the inside slightly, but will hold back. As we've got up the road, we have Nolan. I can't even locate this on track. There he is, battling with Lando, wheel to wheel. They're turning. Lando will stay in front there, battles up and down the field. What a horrible race this has been for Lando. He's picked up some penalties and he has some major damage, runs it out wide, and surely Nolan will try and pull through, but he hasn't got that one done just yet. Look at the front though. Verstappen is rapidly chased down Larkin, who surely does not have much to fight with here. You wouldn't think that Larkin beat Verstappen in the standings last season, because he has come back renewed and ready to fight. And at the moment, after a horrible qualifying in the feature race, now looking at a race victory here, but can he just take it from Larkin? 4S again says the fast lap of the race. Larkin not even defending it. To the inside, it's QVR Verstappen into the race lead, and he's looking like a race win that eluded him all the way throughout last season, right to the end. It is looking much more positive for him now. Campbell again coming back at 10 can and will reclaim that 7th position. Matthias now with M. Sorry, Miami. Contact. Not contact. Spins on his own as Matthias. Now out to the back of the field. Disaster for Matt T40. Now down into 13th, 14th place even, as Irma going round the outside of him then. Can he get that move done? They are still going at it, going through turn 4 then. Cinema squeezed onto the curb on the outside line, trying to sweep all the way round turn 6 and inside of turn 7.
No,
Matthias comes back at him again. Now, as the preferred line is going to spin off the rest. Chill going off. Oh no, down to turn 8, they're spinning the car. And Chill now, after it looked like it was a solid race backing up his teammate, now did it at 12th place. Disaster for QVR Chill. Behind Sweet Crown and Dylan now. He doesn't have a penalty, so he will jump these guys. But Chill, not a great race, and now the team's hopes rely on Verstappen maintaining that race lead. But Larkin trying to chase him down, but Verstappen looks pretty comfortable at the moment with just 4 laps to go here in Bahrain.
Dylan picking up a 5-second time penalty for ignoring the yellow flag out on track. I didn't see a yellow flag at all. It might have been because of Chill's spin, and he's picked up an illegal overtake. That's why he might have just picked up that penalty out on track. But Toxic is chasing down Rocco as well, and Toxic has really attributed himself well. He was down, I think, in about 12th position on lap 1. He's now 5th and chasing down Rocco for 4th and sets the new fastest lap of the race. These two might be friends, but they're definitely not going to treat each other like friends out on track for the final 4 laps or so. But Toxic will be hoping to try and get the move done. Speaking of moves done, Tinkan is through on Campbell down and towards Turn 1. Great stuff there from Tinkan on Campbell in the background of shot by here comes Toxic now on the back of Rocco, running him towards Turn 4. Said they weren't going to be friends. He's diving it down the inside of Rocco, down on the inside line. And she'll get the move done, but he's not there. Rocco is still there on the outside line. These two are friends. They're not really being friends out on track, are they? Here comes Toxic. He's through. Forces Rocco onto the curb. Rocco just gave him enough space. He ran onto the curb by himself. Toxic through and he's up into fourth. And I think also we might have seen him move further down the field.
Yeah, if we did see one further down the field, I think that was M Short maybe getting past Dylan further back then as we have Break there spinning at the back of the field. He's a horror show here in this sprint race. Toxic though, what a feisty, hard charging drive this has been. He may even get second place as it stands there. He really isn't far off it with the pace that he's showing. Ryan's right in the sights and Larkin has a 3-second time penalty. So Toxic may yet be able to secure P2, but he's not shaking Rocco just yet. He's going to have to get this move on done on Ryan. Well defending, but the very fast NSX Rocco behind, who breaks significantly later in a turn 13. But of course, not close enough to make that manoeuvre just yet. As look at this train from the back down the field. It's from Miami all the way down to Zodoma, and right down the field. There was a mistake from Dylan in the background, and Cho gets past Matthias to the inside. Will claim 12th as well. More reshuffling in the pack down there and near the back of the field as it stands. As still, the battle ranges on with Toxic, looking to the inside line, holds back for the move on XL Ryan, just for the time being, but Ryan running out wide through turn 1, through turn 2 and turn 3. Toxic can set up this run to the straight towards 4. Does he go to the inside line? That's covered up by Ryan, so round the outside, Toxic is going to go incredibly low on the brakes. Can the champion sweep all the way round? Yes, he can. Brilliant from Toxic. He's been on fire today. Now in third place. Ryan has no answer. Now has 8 tenths to find in a lap and a half, and Toxic and Mamel, unbelievably, maybe standing on the, not on the podium, but on the second step of the podium. He can just chase down Larkin in this final lap and a half. Sorry,
Yeah,
not lap and a half,
Toxic,
2.5 laps.
move.
No, I was just saying it's 2.5 laps to go, not 1.5. My apologies there, but
Getting too excited, I think. It's like Boris doing his speech right now. He's getting too excited about the announcements that come in. There's a yellow flag. There's been a crash, actually, further down the field. Dylan, Chill, Matthias all caught up in an instant through turn 10. I wonder if one of them's trying to dive each other down the inside. And then 3 into 1 doesn't go. And Matthias has been caught up in that. Here comes Lando as well on Nolan. These two have been battling all race as well. Lando is through on Nolan. He is through and he's up into 15th position. Out on track's been a disastrous race. In the sprint race, certainly the feature race, of course, it went to him. But now Nolan is going to try and come back. There's a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. It's Brake, who's miles behind, and he's retired from the session as well. Don't think that's going to deploy a late safety car, maybe a VSC?
Not entirely sure. I don't think you can actually get safety
Ryan.
cars at the end of the race. It's Ryan coming back at Toxic. Was not expecting that, but Toxic is still going to have to fight for this one. XL Ryan is reining him in for the down the field. M Short finally will get the move done on Miami 5. Has to just tuck him behind now, and he has Sweet Crown right there with him. He's returned to him. Miami is backing up here as now can Sweet Crown get up and alongside him, looks towards the inside lane of the 4, hesitates up to the outside, gets a penalty and is still fighting it, but Miami 5 will just about cover him off as Sweet Crown, a bit of oversteer, has to get out of that one as now Rocco is attacking Ryan in this ever evolving battle for the podium, and Larkin sticking with Verstappen might just save him here and holding up Toxic. Toxic has another half a second to find, and he needs to try and find it soon because we have not much more than a lap to go in what has been an incredible night of racing here in Formula 2 Division 1 League of Europe. Hopefully you have all been enjoying the spectacle in front of you, and now we have just over a lap between ourselves and the checkered flag. Verstappen has done everything right And now, just has to see it through for one more lap, and he will wrap up a race victory. Will join Lando as race winners this season, and we'll see if he can just do it now for one more lap. Still, Larkin chasing him down, but as a penalty to his troubles, he's not going to really make an impact, I'm certain, in this final lap. But he may yet hold off Toxic, whose pace just doesn't seem that strong at the end then. Rocco trying to get to Ryan there. That's his lane to take in NSX. Rocco getting him done down the inside of turn 1. Can he get that one stopped and turned in and through the apex? NSX Rocco is up in the 4th place. Brilliant stuff. He has a penalty to his name, but he is snatching these places out on track. Sweet crown of Miami to the inside of turn 1 then. And yet another overtake in this race of action, in this evening of action here in Formula 2, as Dylan and Matthias are still going at it then. It's not for points, but they are still going to fight. So with everything they have, and a penalty for Matthias, I think will spoil that fun. But now, as Nolan draws past Lando from hero to 0, now in the 16th places. Campbell with the penalty. How much is that going to affect things with just over half a lap to go?
I think Lando cut across turn 2, which is why I lost the position to Nolan as well. I saw him cut across, but now with only half a lap to go, Verstappen looks like he's got this right within his grasp. He's got one hand on that trophy here for the sprint races. Now he comes round through turn 12, Larkin as well, trying to chase 0.6 of a second. Toxic has recovered awesomely well. The defending champion, 3.2 seconds off the back of Larkin. He could get Larkin before the end of the race, but watch that gap. Watch that space, I think it's 3.2 seconds. He can get him, though. Verstappen through the final corner, though. It's been an awesome drive from the Dutchman. Your co-coms in Division 2 is going to win a League of Europe race, finally. Verstappen across the line to win from Larkin in second. Toxic is going to finish in third in the end with the fastest lap to boot. Rocco getting jumped there by Ryan. Tin Can and Campbell now coming across the line for 6th, 7th and 8th as well, with them short coming in that position. Tin Can with a 5-second time, but the short with no penalties goes up to 6th. Goodness me, Miami's up to 8th. I can't keep up with how many changes that's going through. Chill up into 11th. Matthias and Dylan across the line, 13th and 14th. Dylan actually loses front wing crossing the line. Nolan in 15th. Nolan Lando in 16th, but jumps up to 15th. Nolan in 14th as well. Oh, that is it. Sprint race completed, and the driver of the day is XL Zwadema. Zwadema gets awarded in-game fan driver of the day.
Oh, would you look at that? But that is going to wrap up the action for tonight. Finally, it must be said. What an exhausting evening this has been, I imagine, for the pair of us. Absolutely thrilling. And it was Lando that topped who managed to grab the plaudits for the feature race, but in this sprint race it's Verstappen on top from Larkin and Toxic. That's a familiar podium, and we'll wonder if we're going to be seeing more of that throughout the remainder of the season. But that is going to wrap things up then for the action here tonight. And yes, that is going to be it. Let's run us through those results when they do pop up on the screen eventually. There we are. So Verstappen wins the day in front of Larkin. That penalty costing him a chance at fighting for the race win. Toxic gets started and with the fastest lap with pole position points. He may well end this round as the highest scorer. I believe he probably will do. So a good start to his campaign. Ryan, a good drive then to 4th place, actually holding on near the front of the field. NSX Rocco does wrap up 5th place, a penalty just costing him in the end. M Short gets 6th place in front of Campbell, who lost out with penalties. Miami nearly getting him, but not quite close enough there. Cinema comes through in 9th place for the 10 cam running out the top 10. Then behind that you have Chill, Sweet Crown, Matthias, Nolan, Lando, Dylan rounding out the finishers. Then you have Break FM, Killer Blue and Josh, who unfortunately did not see out the race for this sprint race. And that is going to be it. My oh my, what a night of racing we've all been treated to. Hopefully you guys have all enjoyed watching along with this. I certainly have enjoyed commentating on this first round, and I suspect you have as well, James.
Yeah, it's been really good, I think. Honestly, it's that escape from normality I think we've had with the pandemic still going on. A new national lockdown just been announced literally in the last few minutes by Bozza Johnson, as I'm calling him now. And yeah, we are here to bring that normality to you on a Monday night, League of Europe. Please tune in. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring some popcorn along. Russia next week. What's not to like?
Well, yep, certainly stay tuned for that. It's a very short season this time around, only 10 rounds. So every race matters, even more so than what you've been used to seeing in the past. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Yeah, hopefully we are going to be seeing more of that racing all the way through. Maybe at the beginning of that sprint race, just a few little issues with driving standards. I'm sure they will pick up. Then I rarely see any issues. Just a bit of a rare accident, and hopefully we're going to be bouncing back to great action next time out in Sochi. So I guess that is going to be it then for what has been an incredible night of racing. And yeah, that is going to wrap things up. So have been Daniel Hargon. He's been James Head, and until next time, we'll see you later.
Stay safe.
Indeed.